Let's talk a little bit more about it with Colby Hall, founding editor of Mediaite.com. Okay, so Bari Weiss, this independent journalist, used to work for the New York Times, releasing the second installment of the Twitter files. And in her thread, as we were hearing from Joe, Weiss claimed Twitter had shadow banned some accounts. Twitter claims that this is actually visibility filtering. What do these terms mean?
It's a good question, and thanks for having me. So conservatives have long claimed that there was some sort of there was a thumb on the scale. Shadow banning means that their tweets were not being as visible, that there were people behind the scenes that were hiding their tweets or not letting them go viral, and therefore changing the dialogue. And Twitter was really, really strident, saying that they didn't do this. Jack Dorsey said this in a congressional testimony, and they even have a sort of Twitter blog that says we don't engage in shadow banning. That proves that looks like it was a lie if we were to take what Bari Weiss reported at face value, which, by the way, there should be more reporting about this. But I think this is really embarrassing for Twitter, or for at least the last regime, because it really kind of appears to prove that the conservatives were not conspiracy theorists and not paranoid. They were right to believe that their material was being hidden. Now, you could argue that it wasn't just partisan. Some of the people that were cited are known for sort of sharing garbage and misinformation, and that has nothing to do with partisan beliefs. But yeah, I think this got half the traction, as the reporter said earlier, as the first Twitter files. But I think this one's actually more embarrassing and more damning for Twitter than the first.
Well, I want to talk about that, but really quickly, Musk let users know the platform's actually working on software that will show users' account status to let them know if they've been shadow banned. So is this to just provide another blow to the previous administration of Twitter?
Well, I don't know if it's a blow so much. I mean, I think he sort of relishes the idea of sort of trying to prove himself correct, that the last regime was sort of unfair. By the way, there was nothing illegal going on. This is a private company. They can choose to present and manage their product in whatever way they see fit. But I think Elon Musk is I've said this before, a very effective carnival barker. Here we are talking about it. It's sort of fascinating. And it's a big sort of, philosophical conversation about meaning itself, like what we choose to be free speech, what we choose to be, sort of partisan, what we choose to amplify, what we choose to hide. And so I think he's trying really hard to show that Twitter under his leadership is a safe space for conservatives. And, it's bad news for all the conservative or the other sort of startups like Getter and Truth Social and Gab and Parler. Twitter is a more exciting and interesting place under Elon Musk because as CEO frontman, he's making it a spectacle. And so those tools will bring some transparency, and I'll check them out. I'll be on Twitter. I already am, but I think he's doing a good job of promoting his product.
Well, and as we heard from Joe's report, Bari Weiss is actually planning on releasing more. She's promising more information about what is in these Twitter files. But the part one, released by journalist Matt Taibbi, it was rebuffed by a lot of people as old news or nothing new here. Do you think we have an expectation of what Weiss could be revealing as proof of more projected bias?
It's hard to, there's diminishing returns on these big, releases. And I think there's a space for healthy skepticism, right? This isn't reporting. These are reporters who signed an agreement with Elon Musk to present this information. So while it has the appearance of transparency, there are criticism that it's more of a PR play. That doesn't mean that the information they're releasing is not valid. But this isn't necessarily journalism. This is a network or a company letting people know what they want you to know. I don't think further releases are going to have more impact. I think they probably are going to lead with their best stuff. And Bari Weiss is sort of a controversial figure into herself. Like she left, she sort of canceled herself. She left the New York Times because she felt it was too woke. And but to credit to her, I thought she did a better job than Matt Taibbi in laying out a compelling case. Not clear that it's partisan. It's clear that they want us to all believe that. It surely seems this way. I think a lot of conservatives feel very vindicated, and for good reason now after this. But again, these are editors who are editorializing Twitter, which has long been the case. The trending topics are chosen by people, not necessarily just numbers. So And some of the guys who they banned or sort of did not amplify are kind of, they're provocateurs who spew stuff that's not always true. So it's a private company. It'll be interesting to see. And again, here we are talking about Twitter because it's a fascinating conversation about information itself. And this is probably why Elon Musk spent $44 billion to buy this new toy of his.
Yeah, Colby Hall, thank you for being with us. As always, great conversation to have.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.